Class of 2021, congratulations. You did it. All the hard work has paid off. Graduating from high school is a very big accomplishment, but graduating in a time as this, in the middle of a pandemic, takes extra grace, extra effort, and extra dedication. You were able to overcome many challenges to get here, so extra congratulations to all of you. Congrats also to the parents who worked hard so that your kids can have a better future and for all the sacrifices that you made. Graduates, I know this is not how you imagined your senior year or your graduation to be, but if you're able to successfully graduate in the middle of a pandemic, I'm very confident that you're able to triumph over any challenges you're going to face in your life in the future. I know this is just the beginning of all that God is going to do in your life. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has an amazing plan for your life. He's going to use you to impact your community, your family, and the world. So get excited for the next chapter of your life. It's going to be full of opportunities and a place for you to grow to be the person that God has created you to be. And to tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up in Dallas. I was in the same seat as you a couple of years ago. After high school, I ended up going to SMU to get my bachelor in economics. I then went to the University of Maryland to get my master's in accounting. I got my CPA. I did a couple of internships, and currently I am working as a software engineer at one of the Fortune 500 companies. Now you're probably wondering, how did you go from economics to CPA to software engineer? But we'll get to that later. I'm now going to share with you some of the things that I learned in my journey and give you some tips to be successful in college. All right, number one is to put God first. Putting God first is the key to success. It's very important to be ambitious. It's very important to be successful, but our priority should always be to have a personal relationship with Christ and to also share the gospel. So as you go into college, I would encourage you to share the gospel, to always start and end your day with God, with spending time in prayer and reading the Bible, and also praying and asking God to guide you and to lead your life to the life that He wants you to have. Also, I encourage you to join a Christian fellowship. A lot of universities offer these fellowships, so I would encourage you to join so that you create Christian, friendships, and that's going to help you in your journey in college. So yeah, that's number one. Put God first and join a fellowship. So number two is about deciding on your major. So before deciding a college major, I would encourage you to ask the following questions. What are my passions? What am I naturally good at? What are my gifts? What do I believe is God's will for my life? So take the time before college to really analyze and understand what your passions are. We spend a lot of our time at work, so it's very important to work on something you're passionate about. That way you're going to be successful. I know all of our parents really want us to be doctors, right? And it's very good because it's such a rewarding career to have. But if that is not your passion, I would encourage for you to really look into what does God want me to be? And then also look into what am I good at? And once you answer those questions, try to find a degree or a career that is going to lead you to that. Okay, so if I can share my personal experience, my parents also wanted me to be a doctor. So when I went to SMU, I spent the first year and a half doing pre-med. I studied that for a year and a half. And then after that, I was like, okay, this is not for me. So I decided to change my major to economics. And I ended up doing accounting for my master's. And this is my other point to this, like a major that you pick, it doesn't mean you have to stick with that, for the rest of your life. You may discover something new along the way. So that's what happened to me when I started working. I discovered data analytics, programming. I learned some programming languages, and I was like, oh, I really like this. So I liked it more than accounting, so I decided to pursue that. And currently, I'm working as a software engineer. But if I had to go back and make some changes, I would definitely not have went the pre-med route. I would have used that a year and a half to discover, that, oh, I do enjoy programming. I never got to actually take computer science class, so I didn't know that. But I discovered it while actually working. So you never know where life leads you, but always, pray and ask God to guide you. But as you pick your major, just make sure to focus on what you're truly passionate about. And that way you're going to be successful for sure. Right. That's number two. All right. Number three is to have a plan. One of my favorite quotes says, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So I would encourage you before starting college this fall, spend the summer creating a plan for your 4 years. Try to plan when you're going to apply for the internships. When are you going to do maybe a summer class? When are you going to do a study abroad? When are you going to get involved on campus? So if you create a plan, you're able to better take advantage of all the different opportunities that are there for you. I would encourage you to go into your university's website and look at all the different things that they offer. If there's scholarships, if there are any internships, if there are any grants, if there's a business you've always wanted to start, or if there is a nonprofit you've always wanted to start, there are many opportunities out there. So try to use this 4 years, try to graduate taking advantage of all the opportunities that are there. Okay. And one thing that I've learned is apply for a lot of things that you don't even feel like you qualify for. I always believe it is God who opens doors. So try to apply, right? So apply for things that you don't even feel like you qualify. Don't disqualify yourself before even trying. So for example, like I applied for the White House internships, and there is also another internships in Texas to work with one of the presidents. It's very competitive, it's very intimidating, but I was like, it's God who opens doors. So I tried and I was able to get the internship. So never disqualify yourself. Always go for the things that you want and pray that God would open the door, and He will. So do those. Another thing I would encourage is for your first year, try to build your GPA, right? So actually, this is your chance to start over, right? So it doesn't matter what your GPA was in high school, but now you have a fresh start, right? You start with 4.0. Try to maintain it, right? So it's, as you go into sophomore year, junior year, as things get a little bit hard, if you have a good GPA as a freshman, then it's easy to maintain that. But in your first year, since this is a new adjustment from high school to college, I would encourage for you to really focus on your studies. Maybe the second semester of your freshman year, try to get involved on campus, so you can build your resume, which is going to lead you to get those internships and open those opportunities for you. And I would encourage you to apply to a lot of internships. So to find a job, you don't do that after you graduate, right? You find a job while you're still in college, and this is through internships. A lot of these internships are what leads you to a full-time job after you graduate. So be sure to plan when you're going to do your internships. I would encourage your sophomore year, the summer, and then your junior year, the summer. I would encourage you to apply to top companies for internships, and do a simple research. This summer, if you're free, do a research and say, okay, what are some opportunities that are there for high schools, for freshmen, for sophomore, for junior, for senior, and just in a spreadsheet, try to create a plan of what you're trying to get to. And actually, there is a study done. Those people who actually wrote their goals, after 10 years, 90% of them actually achieved those goals versus the other population that didn't write their goals. So it's very important to write your goals. Lastly, I would like to remind you that God is always on your side. He'll never leave you nor forsake you. Just know that there's nothing you cannot accomplish if you trust God and if you work hard, okay? So as you go into the next chapter of your life, I would encourage you to trust God, to stay focused. There may be a lot of distractions in college. There may be peer pressure, but don't fall into those. So fix your eyes on Jesus. Fix your eyes on your goals, and you're going to be successful. Out of you, we're going to have the next doctors, the next evangelists, the next scientists, the next professors, the next president. You name it, the sky is the limit. You're going to be the one sitting on my seat in the next couple of years, and you're going to be the one inspiring the next generation. We look forward to see all the things that God is going to do in your life. Congratulations again, and thank you so much for this opportunity.